Into now the difference of where it is in the eye. So you'll see here, this is like that starburst, like the color starburst. And central, it's more in the center of the eye. And sectorial it's throughout sections of the eye. It's not just in one area. So we have central and sectorial. So we're looking at the burst of color kind of thing. Okay, so that's what we're looking on there for those ones. Now the flecks we were talking about in those other eyes, we're looking for, okay, this one here has like a fleck here. It's not the best example of a fleck. Let's just see what I got going here. This one here has a black fleck. It has like a dark mark. Let's see in a blue eye, maybe it'd be easier to tell people's flecks. Here's one in the orange. All of a sudden you can see here an orange fleck, right? In that one.
O'clock?
About 7:30.
Okay.
Because that would be 9, so 8 would be about here. Okay, this person has also a fleck up in here too, a little fleck up there. So not everybody has lots of flecks. Let's just show you one with more. This person only has one here for their fleck. They have another one here, but in their other eye, they have a few more flecks. They have it here, 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 and here. There's quite a few. And you'll see that these flecks now are also in the digestive. We're not going to count them, like in level 2 right now. In level 2, we don't go that detailed still. But we're going to count them. This person emotionally would be a jeweled eye. And we'll get into that later. But so their eyes can be different. Both eyes don't have to be exactly the same. Well, here's good ones, yeah. So now you have some that's a huge fleck, or just these little tiny flecks. And even their other eye has some too. You'll see all the different flecks in that one also, and different colors. Like these are yellow, where these are orange. And so the flecks do matter. But again, level 2, we would now start counting these flecks. We would see where they are in the body, like what part of the organ, what area does it does. Yeah, if you got into the white, studying the white of the eye in that other course, a totally different course. Yeah, that would mean something. Yeah, so any little fleck, it doesn't matter how tiny the flecks are or how big they are, they'll count. So even this person's eye, all these count. And then same with their other eye too. They have all the different flecks in there. So when you're noticing lacunas or you're noticing flecks, they matter, and they're the easiest to see. Like they'll be the easiest thing for you guys to see. Arthritic netting, that one isn't quite as easy to see. Arthritic netting would be on the outside of the eye, but it's where the fibers do this kind of crisscross thing. It's like the fibers do this crisscross thing, but around the outside of the eye. Not all eyes have it. Actually, not very many have it. And then it's prone a little more to arthritis is what it's saying. But, so that's what the arthritic...
It would be on this edge here.
Right. C3. Yeah. C3, yeah, and it probably will go right around the entire eye. Your perifocal is that whiter band that follows a lacuna. So that one picture that we have is really good. This is the perifocal. That really thick white here. This white stuff, that's the perifocal. So this stuff here, anything that follows a lacuna. That thick white. And you'll see it here too. It borders.
Is this it too then?
Yeah, all that. Around? Yeah, if each one has it. Yeah. Pinguicilia and the petraguum, which of course is Latin, and I might not be saying it right, but it's a yellow a fatty tissue, and usually at 3 and 9. Now, if this was the white of the eye, like if this is somebody's eye, right? It's either here on the outside or here on the inside, and it's like callus, pretend. It's like what it is usually from farmers who are out on the farm, and the wind and the sand and different things hit them, and so the body builds up a protector layer. And so if you see this just in these areas, you know it's like a callus, that the body just built up a protector for itself. All right, so now rarifications are a little different. They're not a lacuna, they're not a fleck, but you're going to notice that there's still a marking. Like this eye here, you can tell, like with the fibers and that, all of a sudden there's this dark area right here. But it isn't a lacuna, like it's just that the fibers kind of ziggle, you know, like they're kind of wiggly in here. There's a little bit of one here.
How do you know now you wouldn't call that a lacuna?
You call them rarifications, because they're not actually like these, where they're like a hole. A lacuna almost looks like a pit, and it also looks like a flower. But this actually just looks like the fibers just wiggle, kind of thing. But they're a funny color compared to, like they're a different color, a darker color a lot of times. This almost looks like it should have been a lacuna, but not. It just has a half size, the side there going. So you want to, and they're not flecks, like they're not flecks. So a rarification is something that is kind of sticking out to you, meaning you're drawn to it, you're paying attention to it,
yeah.
But it isn't so far anything else that we've had labeled. And they call that then a rarification, which in level 2 I would mark down. Yeah. And reflexive, singular blue. It's just you usually see them in the eye of a blue-eyed person. All of a sudden, you'll just see. Let's see if I have any here. And all of a sudden, it's just a white strand. I don't have any there. So that reflexive sign. I have it in here. It's just all of a sudden a white line that just kind of shows up randomly compared to any other mark
Like
in their
the black
eye.
spikes? White?
Yeah, but this one could be wiggled a little.
Okay.
See, these here follow the lacunas, so that would be more of a perifocal line. That wouldn't be that. Oh, these ones. Here we go.
I see the squiggly line.
Yeah, the squiggly white line that all of a sudden there's another one here. There's another one here. Okay?
Yeah.
These are those reflexive. Yeah, and this one here is really dark. And it squiggles out. Kind of squiggles out here. Another one here. Yeah. They're just all of a sudden a random, really like noticeable. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start learning about resiliency. And okay, so we'll have in our book here we have the start of a chart. So you'll see what will happen in level 2, because we do the same procedure. Now, we're not going to talk about digestive zone in this course. So this part, if you want, just kind of squiggle out your digestive zone where it says placement, quality, and shape. We're not going to be going over that in this course. This will be level 2. Okay, so we are going to get into resilience. Now, in the charting, you'll see here it asks, have you ever had an eye injury? And you want to know if your client has or not, because you want to know what you're looking at is real or not. So if you guys would have looked at my eye and didn't ask me, you could have said all kinds of things, but it wouldn't have been true, because I've had surgery. So again, have you ever had eye surgery or laser treatment? And also, do you wear contact lenses? And the thing is, of course, if somebody's wearing colored contact lenses, I can't see through their eyes anyway, so it's not going to mean diddly what it's saying. What you're going to do is, from that chart, you're going to just look real quick. What did you first see in the right eye? What did you first see in the left eye? Just like that. Then the next thing what we would do is we would check each eye with our little light. We're going to check the eye and just see what we notice real quickly on the person. Okay, so we'll try that right now, and we'll just check somebody's eyes out. And suggestion when you're doing the light is you're going to turn the light on first, so press the button, and then bring it into their eye. Because if all of a sudden you're right at the eye and you shine a bright light, their eyes will just freak out. But if you bring it to the side and then lightly bring it in, the light is gradual, and so then they'll keep their eyes open. Now, resiliency gets a little different. Resiliency gets into the fibers, okay? And it's how close they are together and how thick they are that we care about. And so resiliency, when we're looking at the different eyes, now this blue eye isn't really the easiest one to see, but if you look at this eye, this person's eye, yeah, that one might be good to run there too. So these two blue eyes, all right, you can tell that there is a difference between the fibers of this eye and the fibers of this eye. Like these look individual, like I could almost count the fibers, right? Mm-hmm. I can see some fibers, but some of them mush together too. And they also look thicker, like they look like if these were strands of hair, this looks like somebody who has thicker strands of hair. And it looks more like a solid carpet. Like if you were going to walk on this looks thin and this looks thicker. Mm-hmm. All right, so in some of these other ones, let's look at this brown eye. Look at how I like here I can count a couple little kind of threads, but I can't even count anything in here. This just looks like, compared to this one, this looks absolutely thick compared. And then the fibers in here compared, like we're talking night and day for how thick they are, how deep they are, how close together they are. We're looking at the differences in fibers. So then this person's eye, I'll just get rid of some of the where I had written. Okay. Now these fibers again in the digestive zone, that isn't what I'm looking at. I'm looking outside the digestive. But this person's eye still doesn't have many fibers. Like there's a little bit going on here, but not much. Like it's thicker here, but it's really getting thin. Now, so resiliency, what we have is then how thick the fibers are. So in this other little picture that I have, so if we were looking at this true brown eye, to me it looks like antler felt. Like it's so close together, and it's like it seems like it would be a nice carpet to walk on, you know, like it's really nice and thick. Where the one beside it, this little blue eye here, you'll see that you can't, like, you could count I could count every fiber in this person's eye, which isn't a good thing. Okay? So meaning their resiliency is totally different. And so when you look at all these different eyes, the resiliency is all different, right? And now what we're doing is we want a resiliency of how we would count them. And so if we took an eye,
so on this diagram,
yeah, 10 is good, yeah, and 1 is bad. So meaning if this person had single strands, right, that are on their eye, that, and if I can count them and they go all the way around the eye, then that would be more like a 1. Okay, bad. So in this case, 1 is bad, 10 is good. Now, if these start getting overlapped and they're close together, and so the closer they are together, the more layers that they have, the thicker that it gets. See how even in mine it gets darker and darker and darker? So, and you can't tell anything if you can't see any difference, and it all looks the same, and it all looks the same color, it all looks the same texture, it's really, really thick, that's a 10. But if you can start seeing between the lines, and all of a sudden there isn't, you know, anything underneath,
so is this one
that's a 1.
A 10. So would this be a 1 or a 10?
This one here, I would put this person's eye probably at about a 3, because there's worse. Like this person's eye is even worse, because at least this is all consistent, right? Mm-hmm. From the whole ciliary, it's all consistent. I can't really count all the threads because there's too many layers of them. They're not just single right beside each other, there's layers. But in this person's eye, even if I'm going to follow after, it gets a little, like there's nothing here. There's a lacuna, but that means there's no fibers, right? So there's no fibers. So this person has hardly any fibers to them.
So that would be what number on the scale?
This one here, I would probably put them, well, this one for sure would be at a 1.5. there is, I don't know if I have a picture here. Yeah, this would be the 10, the dark brown, because you can't tell a fiber for anything. This one here would be also a 1. This blue eye would be a 1. Yeah, this one here, it's a little thicker, so I'd probably maybe give that one maybe a 2 on that one. Some of these other ones, though, would probably be more like a 6, 7. Like this one here, even though it's not brown, it's still really thick. It's more of that lighter yellowy kind of color, but it's really thick. So I'd still put this probably at an 8, 9. You know, like it would be up there. This one here, I'd probably put at a 4, because I can count the strands. They're not every one of them, but maybe a 4 or 5. This one here, yeah, probably again 7, 8. It's not bad. So if we were going to look at some of these people's eyes, okay, like you'll see that some of these brown eyes, you can't tell anything from them. And so then you have to go, okay, well, how, if I know that this eye is a 10, okay, if this is the darkest and the thickest and the best kind of in resiliency, so this is a 10, and then we know that like that white, this blue eye with a little tiny bit of strands are like a 1, we have to then go, okay, how about in between? Doesn't matter if they're brown or blue, it just, how about in between? So we have to start looking at eyes. So a lot of these eyes will get into, yeah, I'd say 7, 8, like in here. Even though this is a blue eye, you can't count all of the strands. It doesn't go, though, all the way. You'll see here, they actually call this a scrofrim. It doesn't go all the way down, so ciliary 3 kind of loses its fiber. So it then loses some of its numbers. So this eye here, I'd probably put about a 4 or 5. Now, depending, if you guys said 4 and I said 5, to me, you guys are still right. Like, we're not that now. If I said 4 and you said 8, we got a problem. Okay? This one here, I would probably put at about a 6. Reason is it's thin, like it looks a little thin, but it does come all the way out to the white of the eye. So it's better than this blue eye, because this one doesn't go out that far, right? The fibers don't go out that far. So I can't give this eye the same quality that I would give this eye, even though the texture is probably similar, like how thick it is and that. Now this eye, because of all the lacunas, it does come out to the side, but because of the lacunas, it's missing fiber. And so it's going to be probably somewhere around the 5-ish kind of range, maybe 4 range, because it's missing some of the fibers. Okay, we're not...
So what? How do you say your name again? Emma? Amna? Yeah. Would her eyes be like an 8?
Because she has a few lacunas in them, I would probably 8.5. Yeah, okay. I would have gone there, about there too.
Okay.
Yeah, if she didn't have lacunas, she would probably be closer to the 10. Yeah. Now, depending to how many lacunas somebody has will matter. If they only have 1, you're not going to knock them down that far. But in your eyes, you actually do have a few in there. And so, yeah, it would knock the number just a little bit down. Now, even though these kind of look like green eyes, they're quite thick. I can't count the fibers. The fibers go all the way out to the side. I would probably put this person again at about 7, 8, kind of thing, because it's still pretty thick eye. Again, these people here, probably an 8, 8.5, maybe even a 9. They're pretty thick. They don't look like that true brown, but they're darn close. Okay, now, even though that the color change here goes, we can start seeing through, okay? And so when we start being able to see through, now the fibers I can't count as well, but I know that we're losing thickness in here. Like this person's eyes, like these are 2 different eyes. But here, this other one, we'll be able to see like the differences. And so this one is a little thicker than this one. Notice how the 2 eyes, that they're even a little more different here. And so this looks a little thinner than that. Are you guys following me? How come? And so that one I would probably put at about an 8. This one, because of this area and these other, I'd probably put it 6.5, 7 in there. Okay. Now the dark brown again, I'd probably put them more up to 8, 9. So in here, what number would you guys put this one at?
I'd say like
7.
Because of the lacunas, right?
Yeah, and then you can kind
6 maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't say that you're 100% wrong or anything. I might have put it 6.5, 7. Yeah. Yeah, dark underneath is actually just about the same color as the pupil, meaning that's not fiber. There's no fiber here. And it looks blue because of the reflection and with the white. This actually, with this green kind of colored eye, this has way more fiber. Like if we're going to call it material, like if you had silk and cotton and burlap or something, this has way more thickness of fiber than this. All right, what about this eye? What would you put this one at?
5.
I probably would have guessed it at a 4, so we'd be right in between. So if I would have said 4, you guys said 5, and you said 3, I probably wouldn't have thrown you too far off. Now, reason is, it's thin, plus it has a lot of lacunas going on. Now, the only reason I might not put it at a 3, if this is a 1, it looks quite a bit more thicker than that blue eye.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
so if I had to compare it, it's just a little more. All right, now we're getting into the blue eyes. So here you can start really seeing through. Like it has some thickness up top, but it doesn't here. See how it, and it doesn't go right to the white? So it's starting to lose its fibers. So what would we maybe put that one at?
3.
3.
Yeah, probably 3, 4. Yeah, if somebody would have said 3 or 4, I'd be fine with that. Yeah. Yeah.
I see.
Now, what about these eyes?
That's a 1.
Try again. See why. If this is a
Oh, because
1,
there's thickness here.
okay, so this is a 1, this really blue eye is a 1.
Okay.
Any thickness? And
Right. It has a lot more
Thickness.
fibers than this blue eye does, even though it's kind of a blue eye and it has color on it. But you can see a lot more fiber, right?
I'd say 3.
Probably about a 3, yeah. Now this one, do you notice how it's even thicker? It's like it's missing though, but it is thicker than this one. Like how, like it almost looks like it has more layers to it. Okay, so this one here, I'd probably put it at 3, 4, also like 3.5 maybe. Yeah, because of the lacunas, it takes it down. This is the 1. Why is this different than that eye?
Oh, because it's
That's
thicker.
thick.
Yes, right, because the lines come right
So
out.
3.5 or 3, 2.5.
2.5. Yeah, this one is definitely more like a 2.5 because look at the lacunas too in here. It gets really thin. Nope, that's okay. Got it? Yeah. Yeah. Do you see how this looks thinner than this, but thicker than this one? You can count them, right? If you can count them, there have to be like a 3 and under.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This one here is pretty hard to count, so it has to be a little bit better. But because of it, now it goes right to the side. This one, though, it comes right to the side, too. I'd probably put this one at about a 3. I'd probably put that one at a... Well, it's thicker, though. It has more layers.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so probably about 3.5, 4. No, but there's not many of them either. Like, see the dark going between them? Like,
It's like the material is on
2,
top.
this is like a 2, this is a 3.
no, I'd still put these at probably a 3 and a 4 on this person's too.
Just because that's parts missing.
Okay, let's see. I need a blue eye that is about a 6. Okay, I'd probably put this person's at a 6.
What about
So
this
see the
person?
difference?
See, it's more stuff and it's
And the
fuller and it looks
darker.
thicker. And
See when the difference
then
on there?
these ones, it's the underneath is showing like
Yeah.
the underwear or whatever.
It's almost the same color as the